Okay, a sequence denoted by xn. This is the notation in x is said to converge to a point x in x. Okay, if what is the condition? Do you remember when you say xn converges to x? The definition of convergence of sequence, your FYBSC. If for all epsilon positive, yes, there exists and not belongs to, yes, such that, what is the condition?
Mod of xn minus x is less than epsilon.
Perfect. Mod of xn minus x is less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. Correct? But do you see here we are not working on R. Here I am defining a metric which is distance between 2 points. So here at the place of mod I am going to write d of xn comma x, that is less than epsilon. This is the only changes you are going to see. Other thing is as it is. Is that clear? Same definition I'm applying. I'm just writing at the place of mod I'm writing d of x and x. Is that okay? Is that okay or not?
Yes, sir.
Okay, now try to solve little this. What is d of xn comma x less than epsilon? Can I say that this means your xn belongs to open ball x comma epsilon? Can I say by looking at this? Can I say this? Xn belongs to open ball x comma epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. Check whether it is true or not. Yes. Look at this. If xn belongs to this, that means what? Distance between xn and x is less than epsilon. This is what I have written. Distance between xn and x is less than epsilon. That means your xn belongs to open ball. What do you mean by this? As your n goes to n infinity, what do you see? All the term of sequences, it is inside this open ball. Is that clear? So suppose this is my set x and here is the point x and I'm taking any epsilon. Give me any epsilon. What I'm going to see after some time, all the value of n after n naught, there will be, say x1 is here, x2 is here, x3 is here, x4 is here, x5 is here, x7, x8, x9, everybody is here. So my n naught is x7. That means after x7, after 7, everybody of every term of xn lie in this open ball. So I'm going to call this as xn converges to this. Xn converges to x. The notation is xn converges to x. Is that okay? Is it okay? Think about it whether you understand this or not. I just wrote this. Distance between xn and x is less than epsilon. That means what? Xn belongs to this open ball. That means as I'm going, as my n goes to infinity, I see that all the term of sequence, it is in the open ball. This is what I'm saying. Now, do you see this epsilon is any number, any positive number? That means my radius is any positive number. Correct? So let me help you. I'm just writing a statement. Tell me whether you agree with this statement or not. A sequence xn in X converges to a point X in X. For every open set U containing X. For every open set U containing X, there exists and not belongs to natural number such that your Xn belongs to U for all n greater than equal to n naught. Do you agree with this statement? Take some time, think about it. Do you all agree with this statement? Yes. What is your answer? Do you agree? That means given any open wall around X, now I am seeing backwards, huh? Point X is here. Given any open wall, you can have this open wall, you can have this open wall, or anything else. What I am going to say, there definitely exists a node such that all the term of Xn is lying inside that. If your sequence is convergent, then only this is possible. Agreed? Correct. And actually, I'm referring it as open set. And you know that every open set need not be just open wall. Open set, this is also open set for me. Correct. That is also possible because since it is open set, what do you mean by open set? It contains open wall. So I don't have to write open wall in particular. This was just an observation. Huh? Now let us do some problems. Now, do you see the difference? Difference between your FYBSC and now in the definition of sequence. The only difference is your met. In that case, you are having mod. Here you are having metric given. Now you have seen plenty of metrics here. Supremum matrix, correct? D1, D infinity, D2. There are so many metric. So with the metric, your sequence may be converge or may be diverge. Correct? Suppose 1 upon n converge to 0 with the metric modulus, correct? Your Euclidean metric. It may not be it may not converge to 0 with different metric. Yes. So that is what we have to see now. Let us do one problem for the Euclidean matrix. Let x equal to R2 ले लेते हैं and say xn equal to 1 upon 2n comma 3n plus 7 upon 2n plus 5. Can somebody tell me where does this xn converge? X equal to R2 and D is Euclidean metric. What is Euclidean metric? Euclidean matrix means D2. In R2 you are having D2. So can somebody tell me where does this xn converge to? Yes. Where does this xn converge to? Payal? Neha?
1/2, 3/2.
Are you sure? I think you guys need to brush up your sequences once again. There are some standard sequences which we should remember. Look at this 1/2n. Where does this go? As your
Zero.
n goes to infinity. Yes, it goes to 0. And what about this? What
That
about this
goes to 1.
sequence? Are you sure this is 3n plus
3
7
by-
upon 2n plus 5?
3/2.
3/2, perfect. That goes to 3/2. Do you know how to solve that? You just have to take limit. You just have to take limit. Correct. And actually, we have already proved how to prove this sequence converges to this. If you remember in your SYBSC, we have told you that if each of the क्या बोलते हैं इसको component, each of the component sequence is convergent, then we are going to call this xn is convergent. This was the case in Euclidean matrix. We have already done. We have already done for Rn. Correct. So I'm not going to write the proof of this xn converges to this. Let me see some other sequences. Let x equal to C01. Do you know what is this notation C01? Do you remember this?
All functions, continuous function on from 0 to 1 to R.
Correct. All continuous function defined on 01 to R. Very good. Now think about this sequence. Let D1 be a metric on C01 defined by C01 में D1 कैसे define होता है? Can someone tell me? Yes.
Integral.
D1 of yes, integral. It is integral 0 to 1 mod of f of x minus g of x. Okay. And what is D2? Let me write D1 and D2. How do you define D2 of f comma g? Or let us talk about D infinity. What is D infinity? It will be
Max.
supremum. Yeah, either you say maximum or supremum. Since it is closed interval, so you can refer it as maximum. Correct? Do you know extreme value theorem? If your function is continuous on closed and bounded interval, that is here you are having closed interval, then you can say it attains its bound. Correct. So you are having D1 and D infinity. Now you have to see whether your sequence is convergent with respect to D1 and also whether it is convergent with respect to D infinity. Is that clear? Is the question clear? So how are you going to start? Look at the definition, same definition. You have to focus on this guy. D of xn comma x. So first of all, you have to guess your x. What do you think your x should be here? In the first case, what do you think? What is your guess? What do you think? As your n goes to infinity, where does this guy go to? X raised to n. It is just a guess. I just want to see whether with respect to D1 or whether with respect to D to infinity, whether it is convergent or not. Yes. Definitely it should be a number. Huh? What do you think?
Sir, if x is less than 1, then it will go to 0.
Okay.
If x
What about
equals
x equal to 1?
then it will be 1.
1. So do you see this is a discontinuous function? The limit will be discontinuous function. Okay, let us not go to the discontinuity and all. So I see that for more value of x, the x raised to n goes to 0. So can I just assume that suppose it goes to 0? Let me try to prove. Correct? So what do I have to see? I have to see d1 of fn comma 0. Can I see that? Let us see whether I can prove that or not. What do I want to prove? I would like to prove fn goes to 0 function with d1, with the metric d1. So what is d1 of fn comma 0? It is equal to 0 to 1 mod of fn minus 0 dx. What is that? 0 to 1 mod of x raised to n dx. Correct. So since your x is lying between 0 to 1, mod का कुछ मतलब नहीं होता, it is same as x raised to n, so it will be x raised to n plus 1 upon n plus 1. Correct? So what is your answer? It is 1 upon n plus 1. Can you prove this guy is less than epsilon? You're having your d1 of fn comma 0, which is same as 1 upon n plus 1. Can you prove this guy is less than epsilon?
Yes, sir.
Or yes. Do you see? We are actually, if you remember your FY BSc, we always try to make our this part, जो भी है consideration part, we always try to make it of the form 1 upon n, 1 upon something, correct? So that I can use Archimedean property. This guy is also less than 1 upon n. Can you use Archimedean property? Can I say this is less than epsilon? Or sorry, can I choose this is less than 1 upon n naught? How will you choose? Since I would like to see n greater than equal to n naught. So 1 upon n is less than 1 upon n naught, correct? But I would like to see 1 upon n naught is less than epsilon. So how will you say that? By
Archimedean property, sir.
by Archimedean property, you're having any epsilon positive. I should have written somewhere. Let us keep some spaces in between, like we were doing in the previous cases in your FYBSc. So since epsilon is positive number, or by Archimedean property, I can see that there exists n naught, so that 1 upon n naught is less than epsilon. Correct? This is the definition. 1 upon n naught is less than epsilon. So this 1 upon n naught will be less than epsilon. That means what did I prove here? I proved that this sequence fn converges to 0 with d1 metric. Is it clear? And what is the n naught you will be choosing here? What is the n naught? You have to at last you have to give me the n naught, correct?
Greater than 1 by epsilon.
Greater than 1 by epsilon, but n naught is a natural number, correct? So what you can do, you can put integer part of that. That is okay. Your n naught is greater than 1 upon epsilon. So I can put n naught equal to, say, 1 upon epsilon plus 1. Correct? Let us take integral part of that. Integer part of that. Is that okay? Then I'm damn sure that this n naught will satisfy this. So this is my n naught in terms of epsilon, which is satisfying d1 of fn comma 0, that is less than epsilon. So I can say that fn converges to 0. Is that clear?
Yes, sir.
Do you see why there was not at all any problem? Even if I see my fn goes to 0 and 1 in your usual metric. In your usual metric, this goes to 0 and this goes to 1, correct? Isn't it? But what do you see in the case of integration? Integration is what? Area under the curve. If your integration is area under the curve and your function is something 0 all the time and it is 1 only at one point, so the final answer will be 0, isn't it? So that was the case to consider 0 as the limit point of fn. That was the only case to say fn goes to 0, because I was considering the area under the curve. I see that for every point it will go to 0. and for 1 it will go to 1. But area under the curve may, if I'm having only 1 point on the say 1, so it doesn't matter to me. It is something like a finite discontinuity, you can say. You are having one discontinuity, so we can ignore that. That means there is no area under that point. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Now, what do you think about the second metric? What is D2? You have D2 of f comma g is supremum of mod of f of x minus g of x, correct? When x belongs to 0, 1. What can you say? Now, as I already told you, what can you say about fn of x? It is x raised to n. It goes to 0 when your x is between 0 to 1. And when x equal to 1, it goes to 1, correct? I would like to see the supremum, isn't it? So what can you say? If your fn is convergent, then it should converge to this 0 and 1. It should converge to this f of x equal to 0. It is 1 when x is yes, and when x is 1. If your fn is convergent, it should converge to this point. Do you agree? It should converge to this f of x. In previous case, it was not required because we were seeing area under the curve. But now it is same as your Euclidean case. Mein. Euclidean was only mod, na? So here I am having just supremum. Correct? So suppose let us try to prove this. Let us try to prove this fn converges to this f of x. So I have to see this d2 of fn or comma f. D infinity, sorry, I should write d infinity. So what is d infinity of fn comma f? It is supremum of mod of fn minus f. Yes. When x belongs to 0 to 1. What can you say about this? Think about it and tell me. You have seen your function f1 and you have seen your function f. What do you see? See, if you would like to find supremum of this set, तो क्या करना है? जो subtraction वाला part है उसको 0 consider करो, correct? Because I would like to see the maximum of this set, na, fn minus f. But if I put f ka value 1, then I'll be getting 0 or something. The minimum value is 0. Do you see what is maximum value all the time?
X raised to n, sir.
X raised to n, exactly. That means this is equal to supremum of x belongs to 0 to 1 को exclude करते हैं हम लोग, and this will be what, x raised to n minus 0. So what?
This converges to 0.
But again, the supremum of this goes to 1 directly, I can say. Supremum of this set x raised to n. What is supremum of x raised to n? You are having a set 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Put all the values. Do you see your supremum is 1? That means what did you get? You get d infinity of fn comma f, it is 1. But अपने को proof क्या करना रहता है? For given epsilon, for given any epsilon, the following should be true, isn't it? Do you agree? Give me any epsilon. But do you see here your epsilon is fixed? That means all those epsilon greater that will follow. But if I choose, if my epsilon is say 1 by 2, then this is not true. That means I'm getting 1, which is not less than epsilon. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
Because it should be true for all epsilon. No? I see that d infinity of fn comma m, I'm getting a value 1. That means all the epsilon value which are greater than 1, that is okay. But what if my epsilon can be anything? Since I'm talking about convergence, you can give me any epsilon. I just have to give this inequality. D infinity of fn comma f, that should be less than epsilon. Correct? And for all n, I can see that supremum is always 1. So if I take my epsilon equal to 1 by 2, this won't be less than epsilon. So that is, so can I say that Fn is not convergent sequence? Is that clear? Because if it is convergent, it should converge to this limit, definitely.
Sir, so if a sequence is convergent, then it converges for all metrics.
No, that we cannot say.
So we say
Look
for
at the
specific
previous.
metric only.
Yes.
Okay. Sir,
It depends on the metric to metric. Look at the previous question, no?
yes, sir.
Look at this. इसी का first part में, in this case, this was my sequence. It is convergent with respect to d1, but it is not convergent with respect to d infinity. So you cannot say anything about if your sequence is convergent with a metric, then it will be converged to with another metric. Nothing can be said.
Yes, sir. Clear, sir.
Okay. And the trick was here. Why? If the metric is equivalent, then this follows. If two metrics are equivalent, do you know the definition of equivalent? If your metric is equivalent, no, then if your sequence is convergent with respect to d1, then it is convergent with respect to d2 also. And if it is convergent with respect to d2, then it will be convergent. It is only and here you already know that d1 and d infinity are not equivalent in C01. Do you know? मैंने example भी दिया है. If you remember that open ball is not closed here. Yes. So in C01, d1 and d infinity are not equivalent. That is the problem why I'm getting this. Is that okay?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if they are equivalent, if the metric is equivalent, then you can say. And let me just tell you how can you say that? See, if d1 and d2 are equivalent. So what do you know? There is a relation they satisfy. Do you remember? That is k times d1, that is less than equal to d2, and that is less than equal to, let me write k1 and k2. d1. Is that okay? Do you remember this? If they are equivalent, then they satisfy this relation. Correct? Now, if my metric is equivalent, if my metric say, if my function, if my sequence, say d1 of xn comma x is less than epsilon, if I know, correct? So can I say that d2 will be less than something in terms of d1 and that is less than epsilon? Can I say that? Look at this. Look at this. d2 is less than k times d1. Sorry, k2 times d1. So that will be k2 epsilon. So here I am given d1 is convergent. With respect to d1, it is convergent. I got with respect to d2 also, d2 of xn comma x, that is also less than some k2 comma epsilon. This is not a problem for me for any k, that is okay. Is that okay? For any epsilon. So what did I prove? Since metric was equivalent, तो मैंने मुझे दिया क्या गया था? I was given d1 is convergent. With respect to d1, the sequence is convergent. I have proved with respect to d2, the sequence is convergent. Now, can you similarly think about the other case? What if you are given d2, the sequence is convergent with d2? So can you write d1 of something less than d2 and less than something? What will you use? You'll use this one, isn't it? Look at that, d1 is less than equal to d2 by k. So I'm just going to write d2 by k, and that will be less than epsilon by k. This is my new epsilon. Do you agree? That means what? if your sequence is convergent with respect to d2, and then so you just have to make sure, you just have to see whether they are equivalent or not. If they are equivalent, then you can say that. Tell me whether you understand this or not.
Yes, sir.
Good. Now again there are again the theorem limit if the sequence converges and it converges to unique limit. That is the theorem you can prove, and you know how to prove that. I hope. And let us think about discrete matrix space. Okay. What are convergent sequence in discrete matrix space? The question is, let x comma d be a discrete matrix space. I hope you all know what is discrete matrix space. Let xn be a sequence in X. Classify all convergent sequence. Think about it. Not proof, it should be solution. That means you need to give me all convergent sequence in discrete matrix space. So you should start, suppose xn is convergent, correct? Let xn be a sequence. Xn is a convergent sequence in X. So by the definition of convergence, what do you know? For all epsilon positive, there exists n naught belongs to natural number such that mod of xn minus x that will be less than epsilon for all n greater than n naught. Is that okay? Now think about it. In instead of mod, it should be metric. D of xn comma x. Okay, think about it. Something is true for every epsilon. Yes, yes.
D can be 1 or 0 only.
So
Uh, we choose sequences such that D is 0.
no. You should not choose like that. See, we are only given with epsilon. So let us focus on epsilon. What this guy is telling me, it says that d of xn comma x is always less than epsilon, correct? For any epsilon. Now, what if I take my epsilon equal to 1/2? Then what do you think? If my epsilon is 1/2, then what do you think? Yes. That means distance between xn and x, it should be 0. Do you agree? Because it has
Yes,
only two
sir.
possibilities, as you told me. So 0 matlab kya?
They are
Constant.
same.
0 matlab, yes, exactly. xn and x are same. That means what? After n naught, every term is same only. मतलब after n naught के बाद जितने भी term है xn, they are same. They does not depend on n also. Do you agree?
Yes, sir.
So what do you say? This is called eventually constant sequence. It is right. Choose epsilon equal to 1/2. That means what? D of xn comma x that is less than 1/2, which implies d of for all n greater than n naught. So that means d of xn comma x, it should be 0 because it cannot be less than 1. It cannot be 1/2. It cannot be 1/4 or anything. So it will be 0 for all n greater than equal to n naught, which means what? your xn is same as x for all n greater than equal to n naught. Do you agree? Implies your xn is a constant, eventually constant. The word is called eventually constant. That means after n naught, everybody is same. Do you agree? So what can I conclude? So what can I conclude?
Xn equals to x for n greater than n naught, and xn equal to
Oh, that is okay. That is okay. I have to say something. Classification. Now, do you see? Classify all convergent sequence in discrete matrix space. So what can I say? That any convergent sequence in discrete matrix space, it should be a eventually constant sequence. Do you agree?
yes, sir.
Perfect. That is what I. That is what the conclusion is. That is, hence we can say that in a discrete matrix space, the only convergent sequences are eventually constant sequence, and this is convergent. Eventually constant sequence is convergent to that x. Is that clear? Is the proof okay?
Yes, sir.
Perfect. Good. Now there are some simple proofs, that is uniqueness of limit. Can you prove that? Uniqueness of limit quickly. I just give you 1 minute. Think about it. How will you write in terms of metric? You have to write. Theorem is the limit of a sequence in a metric space is unique. Think about it and then tell me. How will you start? Do you remember how do you prove the uniqueness there?
Two different limits. We assume that there will be two different.
Correct. So the first step should be, suppose if possible, xn converges to x and xn converges to y also. Okay, what next?
Then definition.
Then write the definition. Xn converges to x. What is the definition? For all epsilon positive, there exists a n1, correct? Such that mod of xn comma, sorry, it should not be mod, it should be d of xn comma x, it should be less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n1, isn't it? And same goes for the same epsilon. For the same epsilon positive, there exists n2 belongs to natural number such that d of xn comma y, that is again less than epsilon. I need epsilon by 2, but I will later on realize that I don't care. Is that okay? Now which n should I choose so that it should satisfy for both the inequality? Which n should I choose? I've already told you how to see
Maximum of
this.
n1 and n2.
Maximum of n1 and n2. Do you all agree? Yes, you should choose maximum because it should satisfy for both the term, correct? So choose n not equal to maximum of n1 and n2. You can see the graph also. See, something is true for n1 and something is true for n2, correct? So n1 के लिए इसके आगे के सब true है, n2 के लिए इसके आगे के true सब true है. So what do I should choose? I should choose this guy so that दोनों satisfy होने चाहिए. This is what correct. So if I choose n not equal to maximum, then what? I'm having d of xn comma x that is less than epsilon, and d of xn comma y that is less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. Is that okay? What next? Better to choose epsilon by 2. Do you see now? What next? What next? I would like to prove x equal to y, correct? So what should I consider? Consider d of xy, isn't it? This is my consideration. Yes. Can I use triangle inequality? I know that metric space satisfies triangle inequality. Can I say that this is less than equal to d of x, x comma xn, and then something like that? That is okay because it is a symmetric. And d of xn comma y. Do you see all the properties which we were using for the mod? We have proved the same thing is satisfied by the metric also. In particular, your mod is a special case of your metric. Is that clear? You know something. This is less than epsilon by 2. Plus this is also less than epsilon by 2. So you have proved d of x comma y that is less than epsilon. But this is for all epsilon positive. This is true for all epsilon. So what can you see?
D
This
of
is
xy is
possible
0,
only if,
which is only
yes,
possible when x equal
this
to
is
y.
only possible if, yes, very good, if x equal to y. Is that clear? The proof is okay. Do you see everything is same here? The thing I'm writing d, that's it. Is it okay? Now a simple exercise. If x comma d be a metric space, let xn be a sequence in x converge to x, converges to x in x. Okay. If and only if sequence d of xn comma x. Okay, this is my new sequence d of xn comma x. It converges to 0. Can you quickly prove this? One line proof. Do you see what I'm doing here?
Yes, sir. We get d of xn comma x is less than epsilon for all epsilon greater than
Correct.
0.
By the definition, yes. Since xn goes to x, that means what? For all epsilon, there exists n naught such that d of xn comma x that is less than epsilon for all n greater than equal to n naught. What next? D of xn comma x that is less than epsilon. No? So can I talk about this mod of d of xn comma x minus 0? That is less than this guy, which is actually this. See, mod doesn't matter here because the metric is a positive value. Correct. It is talking about distance, so it should be positive. It is not negative by the first condition of metric. So this is same as d of xn, which is already less than epsilon. So we have proved d of xn comma x that goes to 0. Do you agree? Online proof. Is it okay or not?
Yes.
Perfect. Very good. What else? And about coordinate sequence, I hope you can do that also. If your sequence xm is convergent, then each of the coordinate is convergent in R. That is, we have already done in your SYBC. I'll just state that. Okay. So let us take d of x comma y equal to norm of x minus y. And you know how this norm is defined in Rn. X comma y if I take in Rn. Now the question what I want here is, if I am having a xm which is having xm1, xm2, and there are n coordinates actually, xmn. Okay, and if I am saying this xm converts to say, it converts to say, and so on, or here I can put suffix here p1, p2, so pm, p. So p proof equals to p, if x equals to p, and only if x equals to pi. Proof what आ रहे हैं ना, Rn के लिए you know what metric, square root of x सबका, and you know that xm xm1 minus p1 the whole xm2 minus, so you can see that part. I can put it, this part is always the whole term. Okay? So if this is convergent, then this is also convergent. E epsilon upon root n. It will be n times epsilon square upon n, and will get cancelled. See, try to prove that. Okay. And same goes for one more, that is, if you are having maximum of two metric, let x comma d1 and y comma d2 be metric spaces, and I'm taking the product metric. Let the product metric d of